Hey guys, so the hobbyist here again. Today we will be flushing the engine coolant of this Geely Emgrand. So let me show you. Okay, so as you can see, our coolant is color pink. So there are three different colors of coolants here in the Philippines: blue, um, green, and this one pink. I think the pink one has a lot of additives compared to the other two. So if your car is using a pink coolant, do not replace it with green or blue because your engine was designed for that because they have different contents, okay, or formulation. So as you can see, my engine's reservoir is below the max, almost in the minimum level, and what we will be doing is removing the cover underneath, and then we will get the access on the drain plug, and I'll show that to you later. Actually, wait, instead of removing the drain plug, we will be removing the hose at the bottom of the radiator. We will loosen up the clamp of the hose, and I will pull it out and drain it from there and flush it with distilled water. So the reason behind that is because this is my first time doing an engine coolant flushing on a Geely brand car. So I'm used to Japanese cars like my old Toyota Vios, Avanza, and my current Nissan Navara. So I didn't realize that there's a plug. The drain plug is can be easily lose its thread on this specific type of unit. So I decided to remove the hose clamp and hose itself and drain it from there. I will also rinse it with distilled water, and I'll show that to you later. So let's continue. But first, let me show you the tools that we will be using. I just bought this actually. This okay, universal radiator kit or filling kit. The pink coolant or the replacement for your coolant. I'll be using Pro 99, and this is actually color pink right there. So okay, I think that's it. We're ready for the coolant flushing, and let's begin. So as you can see, I already removed the radiator cap, and I have this, as I mentioned before, I have this universal um, engine coolant filler. Okay, it has different port and lock like this, so you have to make sure that this plastic right here enters the radiator hole or the second hole below it before the reservoir. You don't want it filling up the reservoir as well. That's why it is sealed with rubber, and also to avoid escaping the coolant and going back to the reservoir, because we will be removing the air from the system as well. So there are two purposes. So this kit right here has two purposes. Two purposes. First is this acts as your funnel, and the second thing is this will remove the air from the system. So I'll be showing that to you later. It ain't gonna work. So that's not the drain plug, is it? Is it like not the drain plug? So maybe the best way to actually drain this is maybe I don't know. Remove the hose. I think that's the best way to do it. So let's do that instead. So that's what I removed right there, the hose clamp. So I'll just shake it a little bit with my other hand to make sure that the coolant will flow freely. I'm just trying to get some leverage here. Oh wait, I need the drain pan. Let's put the drain pan under the car. Okay, not sure how many liters. So I'll remove this now. There we go. So it's a little bit messy. So there we go. We're now draining the coolant. So we just need to clean it up. So this is the easiest way rather than removing the cover underneath the car. As you know, we removed, let me wash my hands first. We now removed the hose. Now I need to flush it out using distilled water. Let me do that real quick. Let's flush it out with distilled water. Now, yeah, so I was able to flush it out. Okay, maybe I'll put it back a little bit, but I will not over tighten the hose yet because I want the engine running so that we can flush everything out. So I just did put back the hose a little bit. I didn't put the clamp because we're still trying to wash out everything outside the system or remove everything from the system, the remaining coolant. So we'll leave it as it is and still put some water on it, and we'll start up the car and see if that will so what we're trying to achieve is to have the thermostat open so that the remaining coolant in the system will be flushed out as well. So let's do that now. So I returned the hose, but I didn't tighten it yet because again, what we're trying to do is to flush out every coolant within the system, and it's currently so initially the thermostat is still closed, and what we wanted to happen is to have it open and get this water from here. As you can see, you're getting air bubbles right here because the thermostat is opening bit by bit because the temperature within the engine block is rising gradually. So we will be expecting more bubbles here, and as you can see, there's a oil-like residue here because of the coolant's additives. So you're now seeing residues of the remaining coolant here. So this, I'm expecting this to change color. Maybe, I'm not sure yet. But let's wait for the thermostat to fully open. And also make sure that the heater within the cabin is currently open. Okay? So, let's see what will happen next. Actually, if you will show you the AC, I turned the heater on. The AC is on, and the heater is on so that we can get the remaining coolant from inside the cabin, which is there's a small radiator inside the cabin, which heats up, gets the heat from the engine so that you will have the heater inside your cabin. So let's wait for 5 minutes and see. Okay. Actually, we're getting more pressure, so we have to turn it off. I think we're good. So the reason why I suddenly changed my mind to turn off the engine is because I noticed the hose at the bottom of the radiator is being pushed out because I didn't put the clamp, which is according to plan. But since the pressure is building up, I decided to flush it out immediately because that is a good sign that the thermostat is now fully open and the coolant in the radiator already cycled. So okay, basically just wanted to inform you about that. So I think we're good. So I'm getting pressure on the hose, on the radiator hose, since it's already heating up. So I think we're all good. The next thing that we need to do here is to remove the hose once again so that we can drain this out. There you go, still. So now I think I have to flush it again with water for the last time, and then we're good to go. Basically, that is it. Look, it looks awesome. Right. So the water is now clear. It's no longer showing any pink coolants.
So now that is a good sign that the coolant is flushed out fully. Then the next thing that I will be doing is I will put back the hose on the radiator. So I will put it again on the port and put back the clamp to make sure that there will be no leaks in the future after this procedure.
I'll just do this manually. Okay, I think we're good. Maybe you guys are wondering why we are flashing out the coolant. That is because um, in due time, or as time goes by, the additives in your coolant deteriorates. Okay, so I think it is safe to have this kind of coolant flushing every 3 years, or if you're using the blue one, you can flush it after 2 years. Okay, so the same to the green one. So I think we're good here. What's left to do is actually, so I'll use the curved one so that I can have this kind of mobility or leverage. There we go. So let me show you guys. I was still able to bring it back together. So the clamp is actually sitting properly. Can you see that? I'm not sure if you can see that. Yeah, there you go. The hose right there. It is now sitting properly. So the only thing that we need to do now is to fill it up with the new coolant. Okay, let's do that now. So I think it's a little bit purplish, not really pink. I think so. If there are any residues or any unwanted things here, so yeah, let's fill it up. So I'll be putting the link on the video description if you need to buy this kind of coolant. So it stops draining, and that is actually good. The next thing that we need to do is to start up the car to remove the air from the system or from the engine block. Let's see how this goes. Let's wait for the car to reach its operating temperature. There you go. So it is trying to remove the air from the system. So it's like we're bleeding it out to make sure that there's no air from the engine block, the hoses, and every part of the system. Also, we will be removing this and clean this out while waiting. So I think this is 10. Our funnel is continuously losing its coolant because the system still have air. So we have to make sure that there's no air from the system.
I'm not sure if you will be able to notice, but the coolant in the radiator filler funnel is actually rising up, and that is because the thermostat on the engine block is opening up and transferring the coolant, the hot coolant from the engine block back to the radiator. And the radiator cold coolant will be pushed out and travel from the radiator to the engine block. So they will just switch its position. That's why it is going up and down. And knowing this, it is actually a good tool to check if your thermostat is actually working. So if this is the behavior of your um, coolant in the filler funnel, then that is normal. It's a good indication that the thermostat is working normally because it is opening up and closing down dynamically. Also, you might encounter a mechanic who will be suggesting you to remove the thermostat if you're experiencing high engine temperature. Actually, it is case to case basis because just think about this. If your coolant is continuously flowing from block to radiator and back to the engine block, there's no enough time for the coolant to stop on the radiator and have it cooled by the radiator fan and the ambient wind while you're driving at specific speed. But again, it is case to case basis because there are engines out there and cooling system that were engineered to run in maybe not so optimal temperature. Even though it is not overheating, you will not reach your engine's normal operating temperature, and that will cost you fuel efficiency or bad fuel efficiency.
So basically, we're done here. All we need to do is do some leak checks on any of hoses up out there or in the engine bay, and make sure that everything is in place, everything is tightened up. Specifically, the clamp. Do not forget the clamp, because if that gets removed while you're driving, you will get overheat, or your engine will overheat. And also the reservoir. Make sure that it is on its maximum level. Okay. Actually, let's turn off the engine first. We have to put back the radiator, and we have to dispose this coolant as well. Right. Let's close this now. Okay. Don't over tighten it. So once you've done that, make sure that you don't have any tools in your engine bay anymore. Okay, because that is not safe. Also, since we did return the radiator cap, um, the only thing that we need to do is actually start the engine again and let it run for maybe 5 minutes, and then we're good to go. Okay, that is it. I hope it helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave your comments in the comment section. And also, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.